on now. Here we go. Not quite yet. We will start it over. Here we go. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that happens sometimes. Especially once you get to a certain age. All right, here we go. We are live on the Facebooks. We are live on the YouTubes. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Wednesday night in Indiana, and you know what that means. Welcome to the Evan and Aaron Show presents the Red and the Blue Soccer Chat, brought to you by
Long
Drink tonight. Yes, they have become our first official.
They are in the house.
Sponsor.
Giving away some samples tonight, doing a little promo work.
Yes.
And let me tell you, I am enjoying the peach, which I have not had before.
Oh, yeah.
And it's lovely. And this is not some bullshit. Because if it tastes like shit, I don't think we'd drink it.
No.
He drinks it all the time.
Exactly. I drink it all the time, guys. Yes.
And I do quite enjoy it. It is perfect for sitting by the pool, being on a boat.
Yes.
Sitting by the beach, or just getting drunk on a Wednesday night in a bar. So, enjoy your long drink, and I am sure that is the type of promotion and marketing they are looking for. Welcome to our show.
The delightful people from Long Drink were so generous.
Very cool.
They were wonderful. And guys, listen. Yes, welcome to another installment on an absolutely gorgeous fall.
We've got some
evening.
lovely fall Indiana going on here.
It's uncanny. Man,
nice.
How have you been, man? How you been doing? You been doing okay?
It's a good week. Mrs. Red's out of town, so I'm looking after the dogs in the house by myself. So just busy with that kind of stuff. And but yeah, plugging along.
Okay.
I'm excited and intrigued for our upcoming U.S. men's national team matches, which we'll get into here in a second. But, yeah, I mean, international breaks kind of honestly blow at times because especially these Nations League kind of things are really just do not I think they add to the calendar in a way that is no longer beneficial. The entire point of the international break, well, not the entire point, but a lot of times the international break was an excuse for, managers to experiment with lineups, bring people in and see if they're ready for the national team. Maybe get some guys some minutes that haven't been with the national team recently due to injury or whatever. But trying to add a trophy to everything, I think has become a bit problematic. And as part of the player load. So that's where I am, and I don't know how that answers your first question. So is what it is.
I mean, it is what it is. And you know what? We've been in a pretty good season ourselves as far as being able to watch some matches and get together here at the good old watering hole that is Chatham Fishers. Man, you said where we were going to start tonight, and I absolutely agree. And so, you know what? We might as well just go ahead and go there.
Hit it.
There you go. I mean, my man's sporting the jersey. He's got it on. And, Aaron, when we think of the U.S. Men's team specifically, because that's what's coming up, right?
Yeah.
When we think of this team, we've got Pochettino, who is now, the manager. Seems like he's starting to generate some pretty good response from the players, some encouragement from the players. Just in your opinion, like, where do you see us? Where do we need to be? Where do we need to be going into this match as far as Panama goes? What needs to be? Where do you think we need to be? Do we need to just win the match? Do we need to dominate the match? What do you think?
Good questions, because we're looking for different things here, and this is not a competitive fixture in the sense of this is a must-win game. It gets us towards something. It's truly an international friendly, which provides Pochettino the opportunity to see what he's got available to him. And unfortunately, he doesn't have a lot. We're missing a lot of players through injury. I believe I saw a list that showed the number of guys that are out, and we could put together a pretty decent lineup from the guys who are out injured right now.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be interesting to see who he chooses. I think he's going to want to I don't think Pochettino has any question as to who Christian Pulisic is.
No,
I think he's
with
probably pretty happy to see him doing well at AC Milan. We've got guys that I don't think you really need to evaluate them as players, but I think he's going to want to see their personalities and what they're bringing in. I've already seen one report or an article where Anthony Robinson was saying, it already feels a little bit more intense in the training sessions, and guys are trying to prove something a little bit more. So that's a really good thing to hear. I have a feeling we're going to see a bit more of Patrick Schulte in goal.
Okay.
He seems to be
Really?
the era.
Really?
I think so. What I wouldn't be surprised is if you saw two goalies play in this game and then two different goalies play in the next game, because he's trying to evaluate guys.
Sure.
But I think Schulte has a lot of good press right now. He's looking good. Matt Turner's a known quantity. Even Ethan Horvath, I think, is a question mark because he's not been in the national side so much.
And that's where I'm going with this next question is, are you saying that we have seen we're starting to see the end of the Matt Turner kind of
I don't know about
era?
that. I mean, he's playing at he's at Forest, I believe.
Yeah.
And if you're the goalkeeper at Nottingham Forest in the current situation, you're in the firing line, and he's done a good job at what a goalie is supposed to do, which is make saves, close down those angles. Some things are aren't your fault because your team's just near the bottom of the table. I think the main issue for Matt Turner is his late start in the game. He just does not have the footwork that is truly expected, and I won't even say in the modern game. I think in the traditional game, he still just kind of lacks the real distribution ability. It was a criticism I always had of Casey Keller. I never understood how you could be as good and at that high of a level and be so deficient on the kicking side of the game. And I'm not talking about these 10-yard sideways under pressure passes. I'm talking about just distribution out of the back, playing a goal kick, playing a long ball upfield. And I want to reiterate, something I'd posted the other day. I think we have a weak class of goalkeepers right now. I don't think we're where we really want to be. If Schulte comes along, that's great. But, I mean, we can go back a long way and name a bunch of guys that were heroic figures in this national team.
Yes.
I mean, we've got. I mean, Tim Howard tops the list. I mean, Brad Friedel, Casey Keller. I'm sorry, I may be showing my age, but I'm always going to show out for Tony Miola. He's nowhere near the modern keeper, but he was good for what we had at the time, and he just worked. But I think, we're probably going to see a lot of substitutions. Puck's going to want to see as many guys as he possibly can. And I want to warn American fans, we may not win this match. And it's not going to have anything to do with how relatively good either team is. I think we know at the end of the day our squad is solid. But if Christian Pulisic plays more than 45 minutes in this game, and I'm the manager of AC Milan, I'm picking up the phone pretty quickly.
Be like, hey,
and
take
Poch
this
gets
guy
that.
out. Yeah.
I think Poch understands that. I think we're going to see probably 11 guys get switched at or just after halftime. And, hopefully he recognizes that the second match is a bit more important to U.S. men's national team fans. That's Mexico. We want a Dos a Cero. We expect a Dos a Cero. But, again, we need to temper these expectations. You asked me what needs to happen.
Yes.
I think that was the core question. What needs to happen is we need to start what feels like a long but not very long journey. We have 10 more international windows before the start of the next World Cup in 2026. Okay. What needs to happen is for Pochettino to begin evaluating the guys that he wants and the system that he thinks that they can play and begin molding that shape. And it needs to start now. And, I have I can name you most of the lineup, But there's a lot of guys, I said it in the post again the other day. This is Tim Ream's farewell tour.
Sure.
And I love me some Tim Ream. I love me some Tim Ream.
Absolutely.
The dude's 36 years old.
It's time.
We need to be bringing in these youngsters and getting them where they want to be, and especially the guys that are getting minutes for these clubs. We've got guys, playing all across Europe and are young and beginning to build their reputations. And I want to see more of that. And I have a feeling Poch's going to be that kind of guy. So I'm not expecting free-flowing football or anything like that.
Sure.
But I am going to expect to see him really putting his stamp. And Poch is very much a 4-2-3-1, high press, counter press kind of guy.
Right.
And
I mean, that's what he did with Chelsea, right?
It is, and I think it suits the United States. I don't think we've ever possessed these silky defenders.
No.
These, your Rio Ferdinand, your Virgil van Dijks, these guys that you're like, yes, be on the ball kind of thing. No, what we need to be doing is being solid at the back defensively, building from there, and then recognizing that our dynamic players are our attacking midfielders and our attackers.
Yes.
I mean, you want Weston on the ball. You want Eunice on the ball.
You want them on that wall.
You want Timothy Weah on the ball. You want Christian to be getting into the box.
Yes.
It would be great if we could nail down 2 different types of strikers. And we've got some talent there. I don't think we're ever going to have a world-class striker that we can point at in the same way some other countries could.
True.
I mean, if the United States had a Harry Kane,
oh my!
I think we'd be playing a completely different style of ball.
Right, but I think with Pulisic playing as well as he is, and the fact that he is maturing, I mean, he's maturing right in front of our eyes, for God's sake.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're starting to see this guy really start to link together with his teammates. We're starting to see the teammates.
It's the best football of his career.
Exactly. They're understanding how he plays, and he's understanding how they play.
Absolutely.
I think Christian Pulisic, I really do believe this. I do believe he can be a Harry Kane-esque type of player for the U.S. I think that he can be the go-to guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the height, he doesn't have the size, but he has the grit, he has the the wherewithal, and that fits within the USA.
He's certainly
and the
a
way
focal
that we play.
point.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Our intern checked. Turner actually right now is on loan from Forest to Palace.
Palace. Interesting.
Yeah. So anyway,
got half of it right.
He did. Got half of it right. We would love to hear some of your guys' take on Team USA. So if you would, if you'd like to chime in, please feel free to comment. We would love to hear from you. Okay. Shall we move on? The drunk crowd. I love the delayed response. That was beautiful. It was like, oh, is it our time to cheer? Oh, this is great.
I kind of sort of dominated the U.S. there. So let's switch it over to you for Chelsea. How do you feel? How are you evaluating their play as they go into the international break, and you come back and immediately play Liverpool?
Sure, yeah. That's going to tell us a lot.
What you've got a big October coming up. Let me get to it because
we have Liverpool, and then we play an Italian club, if I'm not mistaken, and then we play Newcastle there, and then at the Bridge.
Yeah. So you've got you're in 4th place. It's a good place to be right now.
It's a good place to be.
And then you've got Liverpool away at Anfield, and then you go to Greece in the Europa Conference League to play, I believe, Panathinaikos.
Yeah.
And then 2 matches with Newcastle. One is in the league, and one is in the League Cup.
Yep.
I mean, that's not.
I mean, that's a daunting. It is daunting.
The Liverpool coming back to start with that is scary because that can potentially get you off on a bad foot.
Sure.
So back to my question: How are you feeling about how they've been playing, and what do you think needs to happen as they move forward?
How I think they have been playing, I have mixed feelings about it. Our good friend Kirsch said this, and I totally agree. You can't trust Chelsea just yet.
Right.
You can't trust them just yet. They played wonderfully in September. And I just don't trust him yet. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break right now because it is halftime here at Chatham Tap Fishers. Remember, tonight, the Red and the Blue Soccer Chat is brought to you by Long Drink. There you go. And
but if Jaeger and Jameson would like to sponsor us,
we're not saying what these are, but yes, they.
But as ever, thank you to Chatham Tap and the lovely bartenders and waiters and waitresses, service staff here. Tip well, tip often. Ask for more Jameson.
All right, there you go.
It was a good breakup to the show. Thank you, ladies.
That's wonderful. Fundaba.
Just the tip.
Just a tip. That's all you need to worry about whenever you come here. Just
all right,
tip.
back to the Chelsea.
Yeah, back to the Chelsea. You can't trust them, and I think that.
No.
Yeah, you can't trust. No, don't trust it. You can't trust it. Yeah. I think the reason why, and I thought about this today, two things. Number one, when a team is performing well against mid-tier teams, and they have a letdown against a team that is a mid-tier team, but closer to the bottom of the table, it brings me caution. Because here's the Jekyll and Hyde thing that we had going on last year. And once again, this is something that United fans, you guys understand. When Ten Hag got there, you guys had, that first season, it was like, that second season, you killed it. That third season, that's when you started seeing like, okay, this is some growing pains. I think Chelsea's progression, I hope our progression is starting to get us into those growing pains so that we can start to figure shit out.
Yeah.
Maresca is I give him a ton of credit for this, ton of credit for getting us to where we are. We have won the games that we needed to win. There have been a couple of games that were like, And this Forest match was one of those games. It was one of those matches.
Yep.
And so I look at that, and I'm like, with caution, remember last time I said, guys, we're on a streak. We were on a streak. We're still on a streak because we haven't lost. But what is going to happen to this team? I almost, and this is going to be controversial for me to say, I almost am okay with us losing at Anfield, which I really do believe with all my heart that we will. I don't think that we are there yet. If we do win that match, I will be elated. If we end in a draw,
I was going to say, I think your hope there is to get a 0-0, 1-1.
I will be
at
absolutely thrilled.
Yeah.
But if we lose 3-2, 2-1, I'm still going to be happy because then I get to see, okay, after a loss, how does this team respond? Yeah. And, Newcastle can be gotten after. They really can. I want to see, do we take advantage of that? Do we not skip over the fact that we're playing a team from Greece, that we're going in and do we take care of business there?
I was going to say, you going away in Europe is always tricky.
It's always tricky. Do we take care of business there, turn around, be businesslike against Newcastle? If we do that, I'm okay. Yeah. And I will say this, guys. If we get through October in the Premier League, if we get through October with, we only played 2 Premier matches in October, right? Anfield and then one to Newcastle.
Yep.
If we can get through October with 1 point, I'll be like, okay. If we get through October with 3, if we beat Newcastle, I'm almost there to say we're back. Because you can't. I mean, here's the thing: as much as you want to be a fan, as much as you want to root for yourself, you can't win them all. You just can't, especially in a competitive league like the Premier League. You're going to drop points, but I'd rather drop points with teams that you might feel like you might drop points rather than like.
Well, and if you go out and play well against Liverpool, and they are simply the better team on the day, a 1-0, right?
Yep.
Take care of I believe it's Panathinaikos. Intern can correct me. But I think you're going for a win against Newcastle at home. Well, here's the thing. Considering one's the league and one's the League Cup, you really need to be wanting to win both of those games. But
yes,
it is
yes.
the League Cup, which is the least of the trophies.
Sure.
That and I'm not trying to diminish it. I'm saying you have to begin looking at how you're moving the pieces around the board, and that'll be either I believe that's the third game.
Yes,
and the fourth game is the league game.
I think so.
I'm not saying sacrifice it, but I am saying that's probably an opportunity for Maresco to say, I'm going to see what I've got in some of my youngsters and my veterans who don't get as much time.
Here's what I will say. I do like Chelsea, and I do like Maresca's. I do like and I hate calling them our second team, but I do like our team who are playing in the Cup and league matches.
You do have 59 guys that can actually play for your team. So
we have a whole second team that can play.
You've got a college football team in your training section.
We do. But I am enjoying seeing the other guys play because it seems like they're embracing this as their chance. Mm-hmm. This is their chance to show what they can do. And I really appreciate that from Maresca for being able to motivate these guys to play so well, to play incredibly well.
Hi, Hoppy.
During this. Yes. Hey. Hello. Anyway, that's what I have to say about
Did you just give
Chelsea.
a okay?
Did I give? I was like, hey.
Okay.
I think.
You're doing the little white supremacist.
The white yes, because
they now own okay. Jesus.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And the flag, apparently.
Here we go. Let it play. Let it play. Because I know you like to cut it short. No. Yes, let it play. I see hope. I see hope for Man U. And I want to hear what you have to say about this because I've been thinking about this, man. I've been really thinking about your club. And when you look at their recent matches, when you look at their results for their matches, yes. And I can imagine as a fan, you look at it and go, oh, God, here we go. But what I will say is this. There is so much going on there. There's the team itself. There's the transition still, in the front office. I mean, it takes a while. I don't care what happens. It takes a while whenever there's any type of transition in the front office. There's also the whole thing with Ten Hag. Is he staying? Is he going? What's happening? Hey, Greg, how you doing, man? Good for you to be here. Thank you so much. What part of Man U are you most concerned with right now?
The Glazers.
This is the 2018 version of
No, I think the if news stories are to be believed, they had a 6-hour, very intense meeting today, focused on whether or not to sack Ten Hag.
Oh wow!
As far as
today,
yes, and apparently the consensus was we are not sacking Ten Hag at this point.
Okay.
So I think Ineos really wants to back him in the sense of giving him, some real transfer windows.
Okay.
I think they're in agreement on how this team should be playing. I think Ineos has an expectation for the product they are putting on the field.
Sure.
And I think if you can be an exciting counter-attacking team and then eventually become, morph into not just that, but this free-flowing attacking team, I'm going to bet Sir Jim Ratcliffe has great memories of watching the, 2008 to 2012 teams for Manchester United. That was probably, Fergie's second or third rebuild.
Yeah.
And you're looking at, a front line of Ronaldo, Rooney, and Tevez with some Berbatov kind of sprinkled in, and you've still got Ryan Giggs. You've got these fantastic players that once you begin to dominate possession and you can unlock these guys, I think that's where they're going. But we are many, many steps away from that. Mm-hmm. But I can see how we get there. And I can see what Erik Ten Hag is trying to do. My main criticism of Ten Hag is our games that were wins that turned into draws or draws that turned into losses.
True.
All come down to defensive positional awareness or what we're trying to do in the midfield. And, you know, you give the ball away cheaply in midfield late in a game. Now your legs are struggling to track back.
Sure.
Now you've unbalanced your own defense.
Yeah.
Now you've created a situation that a 36-year-old Johnny Evans has to deal with,
Oh
which,
my
by the
God.
way, I think Berbatov was correct the other day. It is no disrespect to Johnny Evans.
Right.
He got man of the match, but every other outfield player on that team should be ashamed that a 36-year-old center back was named man of the match.
Hey, us old guys still got it, man.
And you know, you pointed out something too. Like, if you go to Anfield,
Yeah.
and you get that point, you're okay with it.
Yep.
I think it. And no disrespect to Aston Villa, because they have been playing well. They have done what is expected of them, and Unai Emery has them playing very well. Good evening, but we should be ashamed to say that we're okay with going to Aston Villa and getting a point in general. But right now, we went to Aston Villa and kept a clean sheet, got a point. By the way, Andre Onana is leading in the Golden Glove competition. We have the most shutouts.
Wow. Okay. We're going to go on to TikToks real quick. Say hi, Aaron.
Howdy.
There we go. We're on TikToks. You know, what's interesting about this team, just from an outsider's perspective, once again, talent on this roster. Talent on this roster. If Chelsea had a Højlund, oh my God.
Well, I don't think we know that yet, though. I think we want Højlund to be something that he may or may not be. I don't know. I really don't. We have said we're betting on this young prospect, and quite frankly, I do love his movement.
Yep.
I don't think we serve him as well as we need to. It's not as bad as it was last season, mainly because Anthony's not doing the exact same damn thing that he did all the time, and we're not playing as much. You've got Rashford, you've got Garnacho, you've got Ahmad, who recognize there's times to play it in, there's times to cut back, take a shot, all that stuff. I'm intrigued by Xerxes, but if you are expecting him to be a 20-goal-a-season striker, that is not what he's. I don't think that's him.
That is true.
But if Xerxes can be a 20-goal involvement guy, if he can be, the guy who sets up the goal, if he can be the guy who has linked up play for a goal to get scored, then much like Berbatov, who's a totally different player, mind you, but everybody abused him.
Yeah.
But he was involved. If you go back the season where you're like, he should have scored more goals, maybe he should have, but not because he wasn't shooting and hitting the net. He was the guy who was dropping in a little bit and helping out. And I think right now they're trying to figure out, how do we work Xerxes into this lineup without disrupting what Bruno brings to the table.
Right.
I think they're trying to figure out, hey, how do we get Ugarte into this system without, kind of messing up what we've got going on. And we have injuries. I hate to keep being a broken record, but when the guys that you've bought and are prepared to build a system around are not available to you, I don't care what kind of manager you are, you're going to struggle with that. Pep doesn't have this problem because Man City has 22 world-class players at every position on the field.
That's what I'm trying to get at, is this just Ten Hag having new guys in the lineup trying to figure out who works with who? Because quite frankly, this last match, Eriksen was in this last match, right? And it was good to see Eriksen back.
He went 90 minutes, though, man.
He went 90, and was that too much for him? And,
it's too much for him to do on a regular basis, for sure.
Sure. Is this something that we're seeing, that if you don't look at it with the eyes like you have or something like that the normal fan will be like, oh my God, what's Ten Hag trying to do? Is he trying to figure out, because this influx of new young talent, is he trying to figure out who fits where, and is that okay? Because here's the thing, when it's figured out, you guys have young, world-class talent. I mean, you know how I feel about Xerxes. I love the kid.
Yeah.
I absolutely love him. And if he can figure out where to put him in the lineup, I think you guys are golden. Is this just that period, or do you really see Ten Hag mismanaging this?
You know, if I got to see these guys in training, I don't know. I mean, if you're asking me how I would go about it, I'd probably push Bruno into a very floating 8 role. He already is not, indisciplined isn't the right term, but he's given a certain amount of freedom to roam around. He's not expected to occupy a particular space, and even if he is, he doesn't.
Sure.
So utilize that.
Okay.
I would tell Xerxes to truly be an out-and-out number 10. Your job is to play right behind that striker, distribute, score some goals when you can.
Okay.
If we've got to get Ugarte to a point where, I think what we would ideally like to play is either a 4-1-3-2 or a 4-2-1-3.
Wow. Okay.
And, we talk about these systems and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, it kind of doesn't matter. Players have to perform and do their job.
Sure.
But, I mean, much like England, we've built a system that relies on having a strong overlapping left back. Well, when Luke Shaw's healthy, he's one of the best at that in the game.
Right.
The problem is
when he's healthy,
Luke Shaw's never healthy, so we're asking Diogo Dalot to play on the opposite side of the field. Now, to be fair, Mazraoui's been great. I think for however much money he cost and all that, he has really come in and done a very, very good job. But currently he has a ceiling.
Sure. Right.
If he improves, if he elevates his game in the Premier League from this competition, fantastic. We didn't know who Patrice Evra was when he came to Manchester United, and he struggled in his first 2 games. I think he got brought off at halftime of the first match he was in. Patrice Evra is now talked about as one of the best left backs in not just Manchester United history, in Premier League history, in French national team history. Is Nasser Mazraoui going to become that guy? I don't know, but we need an elevation in those positions. Licha is fantastic. I think he's already established himself as one of the better left-sided center backs in the league.
Yep.
But, De Ligt has question marks. Harry Maguire has question marks. Victor Lindelof has question marks. I think they're all brilliant players. They're in the Premier League. It's stupid for people who are like, this guy sucks.
No.
That's not the case. What are you asking them to do?
Yes.
If you're asking Harry Maguire to defend at midfield and play a high line,
that's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
No.
If you're asking Victor Lindelof to stay with fast runners that make inside cuts, not going to happen.
Lindelof is a tank. He's not a
is supposed to be the dynamic one.
Yeah.
He's had some good games. He's had some shit games. Can he establish himself in a way that demonstrates his qualities?
Yeah.
And again, De Ligt and Licha come from Ten Hag's systems.
Sure.
So they have an understanding.
So Greg said, I would also like to see them in a 4-2-1-3. And it's intriguing to think about this. It really is. Because the pressure that this team could put on another club if all the cylinders were firing in a 4-2-1-3.
Well, I mean, Marcus doesn't like to tackle, but he will run. Højlund likes to press.
Sure.
That's fantastic. And I think Garnacho and Armad are going to do whatever the hell you ask them. And to be fair, Anthony's actually gotten pretty good at tracking back and things like that. So he'll put in the effort. It's just the end product that isn't quite there. Now you're looking at, you've got your opportunity to play, you can play Xerxes in that one role. You can play Mason Mount in that one role.
Yes.
You can play Bruno Fernandes in that one role. But in my mind, if you want a super press, you play Mason Mount there, and then you bring Xerxes on later, and you're dropping Bruno's in the full-on number 8, I get to do where the fuck I want role.
Yeah.
And Ugarte is like, I'm just smashing people.
Yes.
And when you've got Licha stepping up, when you got De Ligt stepping up, when you've got these other wing backs, center or fullbacks stepping out there and are cultured on the ball, Diogo's fantastic.
Yeah.
This whole trying to play him like Trent Trent for Liverpool.
Oh,
TAA.
yeah. Alexander Arnold. Yeah, sorry, I didn't.
I like it. I don't think we have the team to do it. I think we get exposed.
Okay.
I mean, he's completely at fault for one of United's goals the other day against Tottenham, but it's because he was encouraged to move into this position. So this is a thing that Ten Hag's going to have to sort out with the players, but you can see what they're attempting to do. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I think barring catastrophe, Ten Hag sees out the season. I think Ineos wants him. I think they want him to be the manager that does this. And I think they're trying to get to a point where, we're back to that level of greatness that we've had, but it's not easy to reproduce, and it does not happen overnight.
No, it doesn't. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the wrap-up of the Red and the Blue. And here's what we want. We'd love to hear from you guys, so please come over to our page. Hit us up with some questions that you would like answered from us. That would be wonderful. And thank you so much for the interaction you guys have had so far. We appreciate it. What this does is that it actually... Come on, drunk crowd. Do better than that. There you go. It brings us to the Hey Aaron segment for tonight. And this, wow, you guys are okay. Yes, that's good.
The drunks are out.
This brings us to the Hey Aaron segment. And Aaron, I looked far and wide for this one. And I was like, you know what? Let me get something that my man would love to just kind of chew on a little bit here. Okay?
All right.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you to name the 10 most hated clubs in the United States according to a survey that was done by That Sports Guy on Facebook. And he actually went and he did a study that was 10,000 fans in Europe. Okay, so European fans. The top 10 hated clubs right now. What do you got, my friend? What do you think?
I think it's pretty much just going to be a list of the biggest clubs in the world. I think I'll start with Manchester United.
They were third.
Yep.
They were third.
Real Madrid.
That would be first, my friend.
Arsenal.
They are ninth.
Liverpool.
Liverpool is fifth.
Barcelona.
They are second.
So, Real Madrid fans hate Barcelona.
Yes,
Barcelona,
exactly. Yeah. There you go. That first and second.
Bayern Munich.
No, believe it or not, they did not.
Hollywood FC doesn't make the list. Let's see. Tottenham.
No, I understand why you would say that. But
okay,
no.
I'm going to do a 2 for Rangers and Celtic.
Okay, Celtic. Celtic is 10th.
Okay.
Let's see. You have, how many have you gotten so far? Doop, skirt. Dang it, I can't stop it at the right point. Okay, there we go. You've gotten 1, 2. You've gotten 1, 2, 3.
Are they all European
4,
clubs?
5. Yes.
Okay.
8 or 9.
Inter
and 10.
Milan.
Yes. Inter is 7th.
Okay.
You've got 2 more left.
AC Milan.
They are 6th.
Okay.
1 more club, my friend. 1 more club.
Red Bull.
Nope.
Interesting.
Nope.
Side note: Jurgen Klopp signed for Red Bull as
like an advisor,
sporting
role
director or something like that.
Wow.
No, he's overseeing all of the Red Bull soccer teams in some capacity, which means he's got Leipzig, Red Bull, RB Leipzig, RB Salzburg, and NYCFC.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Or, I'm sorry, New York Red Bulls.
Greg, PSG, you would think so, but no. This is the number 7 most.
So I've got
number
them.
8
I have
most
them.
hated.
I have them all but this one.
All but this one, number 8.
All right. I'm gonna take one more guess, and then I'm gonna, if I'm wrong, I'm gonna ask for a hint. Chelsea.
You said Chelsea. They're number 4. They're number 4.
Did I already say Chelsea?
Oh, no, you didn't.
I didn't say
you
Chelsea.
Yes, Chelsea's number 4. So now number 8 is your only one left.
Okay.
And this mistake was brought to you by Long Drink, ladies and gentlemen.
Is it another English club?
No.
Okay.
Let me know if you want another hint.
Atletico Madrid.
No.
Interesting.
Think black and white.
Newcastle?
Nope.
Juventus.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go, ladies and
Well,
gentlemen.
when you cheat as often as Juventus has in history.
There it is. This was the Hey Aaron segment. The 10 most hated teams in the world.
Yeah, basically a collection of everyone who's ever won a Champions League.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes, haters out there. Haters.
Yeah. You know, I get it.
Dude,
Here's the thing. I don't have any reason to dislike the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think it would be interesting to see them win, a 4th Super Bowl in a row? Would that be a 4th? Or just a 3rd?
The third. Yep. Trifecta.
But I understand why people are beginning to be like, I'm over them.
Yes.
You know, they're not the Yankees yet. But I mean, if you were a fan of any other team in the 90s, you hate Manchester United. Because we won every goddamn thing there was to win.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Oh.
And I would have hated them too, you know? But
Except they were your team.
except they're my club. I
club.
got to enjoy some great times, which is why I can kind of temper, my disgust with them at times in a way that perhaps if you're a Norwich fan, you can't.
Oh, well,
because,
there you go. Yeah,
you know,
poor Norwich.
The trophy cabinet looks like a bear pantry.
I actually have a colleague of mine that is a Wigan fan.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Are they
Is
Wigan outside Manchester?
Maybe.
Alexa.
Where's that
Wigan?
intern? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. This was the Hey Aaron segment, which leads us to the final part of our show, which is Aaron's final thoughts. Guys, listen, we're going to make the Gram. We're going to make the Facebooks. We're going to make the TikToks. Everything like that, guys, we're going to be here. Thank you so much for being part of the show. And like I said, drunk crowd, can we give it up for Aaron, please? Yes, exactly. Thank you so much. Thank you. Can you guys break out into a cheer? Oh, they did it for you. They did it for you, my friend. Wow. All right. Shut up. Okay. This is Aaron's final thoughts segment. Guys, listen, thank you so much for joining us. This is the time where we just get to sit back and we listen to my man just wax eloquently through the microphone. Aaron, what do you have for us tonight, my friend?
Well, if you've made it this far,
here we
you
go.
either forgot that you were listening to a podcast or you've been with us for a minute.
Yes.
And if you've been with us for a minute, you know that,
We love
well, A, yeah, we do love you. And B, you probably heard us early on. And that show did not pull punches when it comes to discussing what's going on in the world. And we are less than 30 days away from an election that I think is going to determine whether or not 100 years from now, maybe even a decade from now, what we recognize as the United States is still here. And I don't feel that's hyperbole. We have one candidate who is talking about leadership and solving problems that affect Americans across many different social classes. A smart, sane person who's engaging in trying to resolve major issues like we're facing right now. We've had one hurricane, we're about to have a second hurricane, maybe even a third hurricane. And if you've ever had 3 hurricanes in a row in New Orleans, you know that's not a good thing to have.
I'm sorry, I'm not. Yes.
And to me, it's not a question. But we've got someone who is running for this office that we've known for a long time is unfit. His own people have known he's unfit. And more importantly, on the daily basis, more comes out about, what he's trying to do. Today we found out that he sent COVID test machines. Not just tests, not the little swabs that take 15 minutes to get a result like it's your pregnancy test. These were the machines, the rapid response machines that hospitals were using in the height of COVID. We're stacking bodies in freezer trucks outside of hospitals, and this motherfucker is sending vital medical devices to our nemesis, to our declared enemy in a lot of ways. This guy's spreading misinformation about the federal government and state government response to the point that people who are probably going to vote for the guy, governors and mayors of very, very red states and cities, are having to put out these press conferences saying that this guy's lying. We're doing great work on the ground here. It is a catastrophe. There's nothing good about it, but the response is what it's supposed to be. It's really incredible, the coordination that's going on. We've got a person who's talking about demonizing immigrants at every opportunity when we are a nation of immigrants. And it's gotten to the point where every accusation is a confession. If he or his ilk make some sort of statement, you can almost guarantee that they're actually engaging in the very behavior that they pretend to be demonizing. We know that FEMA is not diverting funds to migrants. You know who did? That fucking guy. So I'm not here to try to convince you that Kamala Harris's policies are much better, although economists from all over the country have said that her plan will help reduce the deficit, while that fucking guy's plan will balloon it. And these aren't liberal websites. This is Forbes. This is Fortune, okay? These are people who know. Goldman Sachs, who, quite frankly, I'm not the hugest fan of Goldman Sachs, but if they say something's going to be good for the economy, I'd believe them on that, because that's what they care about. So, to me, the choice is simple. If you're still undecided, I don't understand how, but I would absolutely love to buy you a beer and tell you why, at the very least, you shouldn't be voting for one person. Never mind why you should be voting for the other, because of what we've seen. We've had the best economic recovery of any major nation in the world. We have the best economy in U.S. history for 35 years. Yes, we are still dealing with inflation. So's the world. No one else is responsible for that. Yep. It's a thing that's happened. But if you think tariff guy is going to solve that problem, if you think some dude whose claim to fame is being a shitty real estate agent and pooping his pants on a reality TV show, I got bad news for you. You want mamala, stop the dramala. Let's go.
Yes. Woo! And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why I stick around to this show. Oh, even the drunk crowd, they were like, you know what, hey, that's awesome.
They vote too.
They vote too. Ladies and gentlemen, the drunk crowd is going to continue cheering throughout the exit. Yep. Thank you so much for joining us. Guys, listen, we love you. Josh, Greg, thank you so much.
Happy.
Mrs. Blue, we love you. All the other people out there, if you are in the great state, despite your leadership of Florida, we love you. And we are sending good vibes your way. Guys, listen, whatever you need, reach out. We love you so much, and we were going to leave you with this. Hashtag Black People Vote.
Hashtag Say Gay. And honestly, if you are in the path of that storm, folks, get out if you can and hunker down if you can't. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, and I mean that for real. That is not me being sarcastic. Yeah. I know Florida people are hard, and they are not leaving their land. So I wish you the best. Get through it, batten down the hatches, and we'll be sending aid. I promise.
We love you guys. Deuces.
you.